Have you ever gotten lost while taking a trip? Well, music can be a lot like taking a trip. We have road maps just like traveling on the road. My name is Jennifer Sanchez, and I'm going to teach you a few ways of navigating that musical road map. Come along. Now, on the musical road map, there's lots of different signs. So let's talk through a few of them and help you understand which ones mean what and where to go. Let's talk about vocabulary first. There's a few key words that we need to remember. Da capo. Da capo is the head, the beginning of the piece. Fine, not fine, is the end of the piece or finish. Coda is a concluding passage of a piece or a movement. This is usually separate from the actual piece. It's kind of like a tagged on piece right at the end. Dal segno is the sign, and it looks a lot like this. Repeat brackets show up in the pieces, and it tells you to play a passage over again. Volta brackets have different notation at the end of a passage during a repeat. Let's take a look at a few of these repeats. So first we're going to look at repeating brackets. Repeating brackets look like this. There's a beginning one and an ending one, and they always come in pairs. Now, notice here, there's a repeating bracket. We're going to start there, play all the way through, and then go back to the beginning, to the repeating bracket. Now, these come in a couple different forms. For example, this one, notice we aren't seeing our beginning brackets, but breaks, there's an ending bracket. So we want to make sure when that happens, we go right back to the beginning of the piece. So we go here, back to the beginning, play to the end. Sometimes they end up in the middle of pieces or all over in different places. So this short passage, we play through the beginning, notice the repeat brackets, start brackets, go to the end repeat brackets, go back, and then play. Now, remember I mentioned the volata brackets? So, they look like this, and they can have different numbers. For example, this one has 1 and 2. So, this is our first ending, and second ending is what they're commonly known for. So, we're going to play through here, play through the first ending, repeat back to the beginning, play this first measure, go to the second measure, and play through the end. Now, sometimes we want to repeat a measure. So, if I want to repeat a measure one time, it'll look a lot like a percentage sign. It's a slash with 2 dots, and that means to play the previous measure. If I want to repeat the previous 2 measures, I'll put 2 slashes and 2 dots. And that means repeat the previous 2 measures. Now, if you see the word tacit, that means don't play. Sometimes it'll say, first ending tacit, second ending play. Sometimes they even write notes in there. Now, unless your director tells you, don't play those notes. If it says tacit, don't play. Other times, there's many other ways of repeating. For example, da capo. We want to remember that da capo means to the head or the beginning. So when you play through a da capo, you play through the beginning all the way to the end. Notice it says DC, which stands for da capo. You go to the last note, you go back to the beginning, and play through like nothing happened. Dal segno means the sign. So when you look for that, you're going to notice this sign here, and at the end it says DS. So you're going to be playing through. Take note of that. Don't do it yet, but take note of it. See dal segno, go back to the sign, and play to the end. DC coda. Now, the coda we mentioned is a passage at the end. So notice it's a little bit separated. You'll see this sign here, that is the coda sign. We play through the beginning, DS, dal segno, al coda, so we play to the sign and go from the al coda to the coda. So we go to the end, to the sign, al coda, get to here, go to the coda. Now, notice this one. We're going to play all the way through DC all coda, da capo all coda. Go to the top, play all the way to the coda sign, skip that little measure there, play the coda to the end. Fine. Now remember, fine means the finish. Sometimes a composer might want to finish a piece in a different place than the actual last measure on the page. So in this case, you're going to take all the way, go right past fine. Notice it says da capo al fine, DC al fine, go to the top, and end at fine. Sometimes it has DS al fine, dal segno al fine. So you go all the way from the beginning to the end, to the sign, to the finish. So let's quiz you on a few of these symbols. What is the symbol or word that means a passage at the end of a piece? Good job. The coda. What about if I wanted you to repeat the previous measure one time? Good job. The repeat measure. Where is the symbol for the coda? Good job. Right here. Which one of these three means the very end? That's right, the end, the double bar. That's the one with the two lines, but one of them is thicker than the other. All right, and what word means the end? Fine. Good job. Now let's take a few minutes here to look at the Minuet in G by Beethoven. Now, don't let the notes get scary. We're looking at the roadmap. So we're going to start this piece all the way through. Breaks. What does this symbol mean? Good, that means repeat. So we're going to repeat back to the beginning because there was no repeat brackets. So we're going to play it through. We go down to the second line. Notice the repeat brackets here. That means we're going to come back to that section, so take a mental note. Playing through. First ending, repeat brackets. Go back all the way to here. Play through. And because it said first ending, we're going to skip that measure, go to the second ending. Notice, here you see fine. Now, we're not stopping yet. In this piece, we're going to go to the trio, which is the second part of a minuet. Minuet and trios go together. So we're going to play through all the way through this trio. Notice a repeat sign, so we go back to the beginning of the trio. Play all the way through. Jump over that first ending, go to the second ending. Notice it says DC, da capo. That means the entire top of the piece. So we're going to go all the way back through here. Play through everything once more. Don't forget those repeats. Back. And to the second ending, fine. Good job. Now I know it can look a little crazy and it looks like they're flying by you. Don't worry. With more practice, it'll get a lot easier. So remember, the composers use symbols to help you guide where they need to be. It's a lot like a road sign. For example, that's telling you, yield, pay attention, you're coming back to that spot. You have your cones. And that tells you, go back to the beginning and do it all over again. So I hope that helps you out a little bit when you're looking through your roadmap. So now that you have the words and symbols that composers may use to tell you as a performer how to read a roadmap, tomorrow we'll be taking a look at several modern and classical pieces and using your knowledge of musical roadmaps to analyze and play each piece. Be sure to check out the resources folder. We've got some great resources that'll help you along the way also. If you need help on what the symbols mean, also, don't forget to take your quiz. It's really important to get those grades, so take your quiz, show your understanding. Can't quite remember? Or just have something you need to check out one more time. This will help you. So check out these musicals, especially the symbols and musical roadmaps. It walks through everything step by step. It's a great sheet to have in your music folder.